Good day, folks, and welcome back to Ed's Garage at Bannister Hyundai. Today I have for you the Kia K5 LX. I don't do a lot of reviews on Kias, unfortunately. I just don't get a lot of opportunities to do so, but we have this one here, and it's a beautiful car, and it's got a lot of features, and I wanted to cover this real quick before it goes back to our Kia store. Now, this particular one happens to be a 2021. However, they haven't really changed much for 2022 and 2023. So, if you're looking at a Kia K5 LX all-wheel drive, this is basically going to be the same with a couple of minor changes, and I'll point those out as we go along. So first off, styling. What do I think about this one? Well, I gotta say, this is a hot looking car. I really love these amber daytime running lights with the little cool Z pattern here. It's just a really good looking car. Now this of course competes with the Sonata on the Hyundai's side, but the Sonata doesn't actually come in an all-wheel drive option, so this is kind of cool. But yeah, let's look at some of the features on the front here while we've got it. So, nice wide grille that kind of merges into the headlights. It does have the LED headlights and high beams. They're reflector style, but there's 4 of them, and they're really good. You got the air curtain pass through here. Of course, that's creating that curtain of air over the front wheels to help in fuel efficiency. And then up in the windshield, you can see we've got the forward-facing camera. That's of course going to be for the lane keep assist and autonomous emergency braking and whatnot. Now, one difference, you'll notice that this is the older style Kia badge. So on the 2023, you do have that sort of, looks like Ka, but it actually says Kia. So different badging on the front of the new model. Coming around to the side here, you got 16-inch aluminum alloy wheels. Now these are wrapped in Kumho Solus. It's pretty much the standard tire that Hyundai Kia like to use. So this is a 205/65/16, but at least they are a nice aluminum alloy wheel. Coming around the side here, you can see we've got the marker lights on the mirrors. You've got the icon here for the blind spot monitoring system. It does have proximity entry. And going around to the back, got the little bar going across here. Now this is not lights. I believe in the higher trim levels they are. Doesn't look like LEDs back here at all though, but a good looking back end. We've got the little fake exhaust tips on the either side. I hate seeing that. You can see the exhaust kind of poking out underneath the vehicle there. So possibly on the higher trim it comes with the actual dual chrome exhaust. Let me know, guys. I don't sell Kias, so I don't know off the top of my head. Again, this one is all-wheel drive, and this all-wheel drive system very similar to Hyundai's in that it's a predictive all-wheel drive system. It's basically the same system that we use. There's some variations between models, but still designed and engineered by Magna International. You got the backup camera right here, which will demonstrate in a little bit, and of course again the older style badge. Now I should also mention this vehicle does have rear cross traffic alert with assist, so it's actually able to brake automatically if it detects something about to pass behind the vehicle. And as a matter of fact, with the blind spot monitoring system, it also has an assistance. So if there's a vehicle in your blind spot and you put your turn signal on and you start to go over, it will actually pull you back into your lane as well. So a good amount of safety features. But also back here, this one does have the smart trunk feature. So if we stand behind the vehicle for a few seconds, the trunk actually opens up all on its own. And look at that, it springs all the way up, which is nice to see. Huge trunk, actually, tons of space in here. We do have the latches for the 60/40 split rear bench, so that's good to see as well. Underneath the floor, we can see we've got a spare tire in here with a jack. No tire repair kit on this Kia. So yeah, let's check out the back seat, see how much space there is. All right, so jumping into the back here. So this is kind of a nice looking interior, really. It's got padded armrest, little grab handle here for the door. And as you can see, we've got the center cup holder armrest in here. Now let's have a look as far as the space goes. Let's see what we're looking at here. Yeah, so I have this seat basically where I would drive. And you can see I've got lots of room in front of my legs, so good leg room, nice solid seat back. It does have the pockets there, and I can stick my feet underneath. Headroom is really good as well, so no problems there. As far as the comfort of the seat, I'd say it's quite good. I don't have a problem with the comfort of the seat at all. Down here you can see we've got a couple of lit up USB ports, so at night those will light up, make it easier to see. But other than that, there's not really a heck of a lot going on back here. It's pretty basic, but of course this is the entry-level Kia K5. So, All right, let's have a look under the hood real quick, see what's powering this vehicle. All right, underneath the hood of the Kia K5 LX, we have a 1.6-liter turbo 4-cylinder Smart Stream engine. Now, this vehicle is getting 180 horsepower and 195 foot-pounds of torque. It's no sports car, and definitely with that all-wheel drive system, it's going to be lugging around a lot of weight, but it's sufficient for pretty much 90% of people out there. So this will get decent passing power and whatnot. Underneath the hood, you can see we've got struts here, which is kind of nice. We have easy placement for the windshield washer fluid. Really easy access for the engine air filter, so that's something that anyone can do at home. Got your fuse box, your DC battery there. Sorry, your accessory battery. It's DC. Yeah, decent amount of space to work all the way around. As I mentioned, this is turbocharged, but it does not require high octane fuel. You can just use regular 87 octane fuel. Underneath the hood, you can see we've got the sound deadening insulation there as well. Some sound deadening all around the back of the firewall, and that's pretty much it. So again, with Kia and Hyundai, they've got kind of a philosophy that Kia is good cars for great price, whereas Hyundai is great cars for good price. So as far as like build quality and refinement and whatnot, they're going to be pretty close. But Hyundai is going to be just a little tiny bit above, whereas Kia is going to be priced a little bit lower. That's kind of the idea behind the Hyundai and Kia brands. All right, stepping inside the Kia K5, we have a power driver seat and a manually adjustable passenger seat. The power driver seat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-way adjustable. The passenger seat has height adjustment, and of course it goes forwards and backwards in the backrest, so 6-way manually adjustable passenger seat. As for the interior accoutrements, we're going to go over everything here. You got your window controls and mirror controls there. Pretty straightforward. Nice padded armrest. And on the dashboard, you can see we have access to pop the trunk here. Got your lane keep assist, dimmer switch, and traction stability control. Now, this vehicle is equipped with remote start. Here's the proximity remote here. There's the remote start button. And what's nice about this is once you remote start the vehicle, you can just get in, put your foot on the brake, and it comes to life. You don't actually have to start it up a second time. Having a look at the left stock here, so your turn signal stock, it does have automatic headlights, automatic high beams, of course, and the one-touch turn signal, which can be adapted 3, 5, or 7 flashes. On the right-hand side, typical stock for your window wiper. Now, this does not have the auto wipers. That'll be in the higher trim levels. But when you do change the window wiper or the headlights, it does show you in the little screen here what setting you're on, which is kind of nice. The steering wheel itself is a leather-wrapped and heated steering wheel, which is a nice touch. On the controls over here, we have our voice recognition, which now only will work, of course, if you have a phone connected via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. You have your mode button here to switch between sources of music, your volume controls, mute button, next song, previous song, next preset, previous preset, and your answer call or hang up call. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you can see we have our controls for the little screen right there, which we'll get to in a moment. It does have lane follow assist at low speeds as well as high speeds. So basically this one here will turn on your lane follow assist at any speed. It'll show an icon again in that little screen there. And then the one on the dashboard here, that is the default one, which will also show up there. So that is the lane keep assist for higher speeds there. When it turns green, that means you know it's functional and active and working. Now, as far as the other buttons here, so this one here will also go through the menus there. It's also an OK button. I'm going to cover all of that in a moment. You got cruise control. It's not adaptive on this one, but that sets your speed. This increases it, decreases it, and this pauses and resumes it. Having a look now at that little center screen there. So we're looking at the instrument cluster in total. On the left-hand side, you got your tachometer and your engine temperature, pretty straightforward. On the right-hand side, your speedometer and fuel. But in the little center screen, I'm going to go through the screen starting with the farthest left thing here. And to cycle through, we're going to press this button to go from left to right, and then use this button to go up and down within the menus, and we're going to press that button if we need to go into a menu. So we're going to start at the far left here. We have our drive mode. So we got obviously normal drive mode. We have, let's see, we got smart, normal, sport, custom, and snow. Now the custom option, I imagine that's probably set up in the infotainment system, so we'll check that out momentarily. That's kind of cool. So as you change those, you'll notice that the display is also kind of changing a little bit So as soon as we leave it on sport here, let's see what the display looks like. Yeah, so you got little red lines instead, so it changes the color of the instrument cluster screen a little bit there. Yeah, next thing on the list here is our average fuel economy, which obviously is incorrect. So we're going to reset that. We're going to go down to our accumulated economy information, down to our drive info. So that's since we last started up. And then current drive mode again. So in smart mode, you'll notice it currently says eco because we haven't actually started driving yet. But smart mode will automatically adjust the drive mode based on how you're driving. So that's what that is. Jumping over one spot, you can see we have our lane keep assist information screen and our attention level screen. So this basically will monitor how you're driving, and it'll actually start, you'll start to see this go down if it needs to correct you a lot on the highway or whatnot. If it's using the lane keep assistance a lot, then essentially it will start to think that you're getting tired, and eventually it will tell you to take a break. Jumping over again, we have our user settings, and then finally we have our digital speedometer, our tire pressure monitor, and our all-wheel drive info screen. And you can see actually the wheels up here are turned because they actually will indicate which way your wheels are facing. So you can actually move that steering wheel there, and let's see, now it shows that it's straight. Pretty cool, eh? And then as you start to accelerate, all four wheels will get power, and it'll show little blue lines come up in there. Now back to the speedometer. You notice it says hold OK for miles per hour. So if I hold that OK button right there, it's going to put it into miles. There we go. Now it says miles. Everything's in miles now. Put it back to kilometers. Perfect. Now let's have a look at the different things in the user settings. So first off, driver assistance. We have our warning timing. What that means is if it detects that you're about to get into an accident, it'll actually give you a warning, but you can actually make it so that it waits a little bit longer to warn you. You can change the warning volume. That's what the warning volume sounds like. Driver attention warning. You've got the leading vehicle departure alert, which is pretty cool. So we already talked about the inattentive driver warning. This one, if there's a car in front of you that starts off at a green light or whatever, and you're not moving, instead of getting honked at, you're actually going to get a little reminder by your car that it's safe to start proceeding forward. Your forward safety, you have active assist, of course, so that's the autonomous emergency braking system. We have lane keep assist, which of course is turned on, and you can adjust that as well. You can put on warning only or turn it off completely. We can go to blind spot safety. We have safe exit assist, so that's if you're just parked on a parallel parking spot and there's a car coming, it'll actually hold the rear doors locked so that the child in the back can't open the door and have a car hit it or whatnot. So that's pretty cool. We have active assist for the blind spot itself. So that's what I was talking about earlier, where it actually will yank you back into your lane if you start to go left or right into a car in your blind spot. Parking safety, here's a rear cross traffic safety. All right, and then going down one, you can see our one-touch turn signal. We can put that into 5 flashes so that it flashes 5 times now when we just tap the turn signal stalk, which we'll leave on. So we have headlight delay, so the headlights will stay on for a bit after you shut the car off. And there's our high beam assist option as well. Under door, we can enable the 2-press unlock and the smart trunk thing we talked about earlier. Under sound, we can enable the welcome sound. So when we turn on the car, it plays a little tune. Under convenience, you can see we have a rear occupant alert. So if the rear doors were ever opened up at any time before the car was started, it'll actually remember that. So when you shut the car off, it'll remind you to check the rear seats. We also have our welcome lights, so lights in the door handles will come on as you approach the vehicle. And then this is just to enable different things coming up in the instrument cluster. And then our service interval, of course, so 8,000 kilometers or 8 months. Theme selection, we can actually choose what type of background theme we want in this little screen here. So now you can see the top and bottom of the screen look a little different. We have our fuel economy reset and, what sort of units we want in there. So miles per hour or kilometers per hour, or fuel economy units, kilometers per liter or liters per 100 kilometers, that sort of thing. We can also change it to Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, and then pascals instead of PSI, for instance. So that's all the different things you can change in the user settings, and then it bounces over to that screen again. All right, let's have a look at the rest of the car here. So for 2023, they do have the rear cross traffic collision avoidance assist. So this 2021 obviously doesn't have that model. So that's something that they did change either last year or this year. So keep that in mind. Just kind of going through the the reports here as for what the vehicle comes with. And I found this kind of interesting. It says temporal spare tire. Now, for any of you space show fans, you'll know that temporal usually refers to things that are about time. So temporal spare tire. Maybe when your tire goes flat, you can go back in time and then it's not flat. Maybe that's what they mean by that. Okay, so yeah, tire pressure monitoring system is on there, of course. But yeah, the blind spot collision avoidance assist is definitely something that is different. And it says for the 2023 safe exit warning. However, this one said safe exit assist. So that would indicate that the rear doors stay shut. So maybe that's something that they changed. All right, having a look at the center console, you can see we've got a small cubby in the center there, but a little bit of extra storage right here. You have your heated seat buttons, your heated steering wheel button. There's your drive mode button. This is a little toggle switch thing. It's not really a button, but you got your auto hold and your parking brake. So automatic parking brake. Auto hold basically stops the vehicle from rolling forwards or backwards when you let off the brake, whether you're on a flat surface or not. We have our shifter here, really nice chunky shifter. It has the manual mode as well. No paddles on the steering wheel though, just the manual mode here on the shifter. In the front of the center console, you can see we've got our 12-volt port. Our USB port here is going to connect directly to the screen for things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto when you want to use the wired system. And then another USB port here to charge another phone. Little spot here for your cell phone. It's not hidden. It's not a wireless charger or anything in this trim level. We have dual zone automatic climate control. So 3 levels of automatic, which is nice to see. And presumably has the automatic recirculate when you put the windshield wiper washer on. So that's pretty cool as well. Really like this layout actually. It's very simple, but it is still dual zone automatic, which is good to see. Having a look at the dashboard, you can see we have our start stop button right there, and pretty reasonable looking dashboard. It's some soft touch materials up top here, hard plastic there, and hard plastic there. So you can see where they saved a bit of money on the interior design. Got some piano black plastic up here wrapping around this 8-inch touchscreen. Now, the touchscreen in this vehicle does include wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is nice, but we do have some hard buttons here as well. So we got radio, which takes, of course, to the radio screen, media, which take you to music from your cell phone or from a USB stick. This star button here is actually customizable. So it's currently set up to go to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is nice, but if I hold it, I can actually change the feature to one of these other things. So I can have it turn the display on and off, I can have it go to the home screen, go to the phone screen, go to the Bluetooth audio, that sort of thing. And the mode button on the steering wheel is also customizable. If you don't listen to AM or whatnot, you can actually only check, or you can check only the stuff that you listen to and then cycle through that using the mode button there. So that's kind of cool. On the right hand side, we have our seek and track. It's obvious what that is. Setup is the same as the setup button on the screen, and that takes you into this screen here where you can then customize the vehicle and the screen itself, and your tuning knob and power knob. Now the power knob is also the volume knob is also a power button. So if you press that, it turns the radio on and off. If you hold it, it turns the whole screen off. And you can actually set it up so that when you turn the screen off, it puts a digital clock there. So that's another option you can set, and I believe that's under display. Yeah, so right there. So now if I hold that button, there we go, we have a digital clock. Now, any of you that have seen my videos on Hyundais know that this system is very much the same. It's got a bit of a different color scheme, but I'm going to show you a few things that this particular one can do. So starting with the home screen, of course, you have a quick preview of the stereo. On the right here, it's talking about connecting your phone via Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Generally, otherwise, you'll see the icon for that there. Phone takes you to the phone screen, of course. Media is to switch between different options there. You can see, if you hold it down, you can customize what's in here, but if you press media, which currently you cannot, it'll go to whatever media playback device you have connected. So under all menus, we have, again, phone, there's Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, user manual, which is a quick scannable QR code that takes you to a digital version of the manual. Voice memo will remember your voice so that you can leave yourself reminders. That's basically what that is. Radio takes you into the same screen as the radio button. It does have HD radio as well, by the way. And then setup takes us back to the setup screen. That's pretty much it for the main kind of home screen stuff. So let's go into the setup screen. Under sound, we have vehicle dependent, speed dependent volume control, which is nice. Our position, our different volume levels for different things, so our system sound and Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Tone, so bass, mid-range, and treble. Priority, so you can actually have the system lower the volume when you put the vehicle into reverse, for instance, and that is what the park and safety priority is. This one is if the vehicle detects a potential collision or blind spot monitor issue or whatever. Anytime you get an alarm, it'll lower the volume. Startup volume limit, which is great, so you don't get blasted by high volume after your teenagers have driven the car. Device connections is where you would normally go to connect a phone. Vehicle is your vehicle settings. So we have drive mode custom. So here's where you can change the custom settings for your custom drive mode. So we can put the powertrain into a sport or normal, and then we can change the steering into sport or normal. So that's kind of cool, because when you put the vehicle into sport mode, as I will do now, let's see here. So sport mode there. So sport mode basically will tighten up the steering wheel and give you more low-end kick. But if all you want it to do is tighten up the steering wheel, then you can go into the custom mode here, put the steering wheel mode on normal, and keep the powertrain in normal. So that's kind of nice. You actually have the option of customizing that a little bit. And then under climate, you can see if we go to recirculate air, activate upon washer fluid use, so that's the setting there. And then automatic ventilation, we can set it up to automatically dehumidify when it detects that the air is humid. All right, under button, this is where you customize the custom button here, or the steering wheel mode button, which we've already looked at. And then under general, you can see we can do an update here using a USB stick. This is also where we can change our date and time, language, that sort of thing. It does have GPS time, because this vehicle apparently is equipped with a GPS, but strangely, there's no access to the GPS from this vehicle. So what I mean by that is, ordinarily, I would see the Kia's Uno buttons, or whatever it's called, UVO telematic system. I don't see that up here. I don't see that on the mirror. And this vehicle doesn't have a built-in navigation system. So that's interesting. The fact that it has GPS time. Apparently, it is working. I mean, it's to be on daylight savings time right now, but weird. So it both has GPS time and does not have navigation or UVO. Interesting. That's weird. And then under Wi-Fi, you can see we can use wireless phone projection, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. And of course, it is equipped with a backup camera with dynamic steering lines, as you can see. So the lines basically are telling me where I'm going to end up, those yellow lines. The blue lines will tell me exactly where I'm going to end up if I were to have the steering wheel straight. So as you can see, it's nice and easy to get this car parked using the backup camera, just like that. And something I'd like to point out with the backup camera, if you tap the screen, you can actually change the view to look straight down over the bumper. You can see how close I am to that pole now. If I didn't have a backup camera, I might not have seen that. But also notice how clear the image is actually. It's a really, really high resolution camera and screen. It's one of the better ones in the industry. And you can actually see the bumper along the bottom there as well, which is super handy. All right, so yes, in regard to the mirror, it is just a manually adjustable mirror. And then up here, we've got map lights, interior lighting when the door's open, interior lighting with the button there. And both of the sun visors do slide, and they both have, oh, I just turned that light on. They both have mirrors, and they both have lights that come on when you open the mirror up all the way. So yeah, as you can see, this one is also capable of sliding, so that's cool. And that's pretty much it. There's not a whole lot to talk about in this particular trim level of the K5. However, it is quite feature-rich for what you're getting. I mean, it's not a lot of money for an all-wheel drive sedan with this level of equipment. I mean, it's not the top trim level, which is why this video didn't take 45 minutes. But if somebody can explain to me how it has GPS and why it has GPS time, but not UVO or built-in navigation, I would be quite interested to learn why. Because I know that all of our vehicles that have the setting for GPS time also have one or the other, either telematics or built-in navigation or both. So that is the only thing I found a little bit interesting. So hope this video was helpful to you guys. If it was, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you have any comments aside from the GPS thing or for the GPS thing, please leave them below. I'd be happy to hear your thoughts on this particular vehicle and how it compares with the Hyundai Sonata. Thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. And even if you haven't, well, then you wouldn't know I'm saying thank you right now. But thank you anyway. All right, guys, take care and have a wonderful day.